Hey everyone, it's Anthony Ramos from GLAAD here at the Sundance Film Festival. And the film Together tells a story of an unlikely bond between a single man in his 40s looking to start a family and the 20-something surrogate that he finds. The film is premiering right here at the Sundance Film Festival, and it's already been picked up for distribution by Bleecker Street. The film stars Ed Helms and Patti Harrison and was written and directed by Nikole Beckwith. And I am so excited to have all of them here today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sundance.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. All right.
It's so beautiful here in Park City.
I know. You stay warm. No, but seriously, this film is so special. I loved it. Definitely one of my favorites. So, Patti, I want to start with you because I feel like you're on this roll. Every project you do is just more and more amazing. But this film, I think, is definitely something like you've never done before. So tell me what it was like to kind of step into this world about, playing a surrogate and having this bond with Ed Helms' character.
Yeah, I mean, it is truly, I never thought I would have the opportunity to play, a breeder. So it just was such a different experience than kind of anything I worked on before. Yeah, getting to know Ed and work with Ed too. Like, I have these preconceived notions about Ed as like a comedic actor, and just like watching him in so many things that are like really hard in the paint, like comedies, and then to get to work on something with him where I felt like, I'm coming from a lot of comedy stuff into this more dramatic space. And then he also he's done some other stuff too that's more grounded, but like it was such a layered experience.
But Ed, if I can come to you, because this movie obviously centers around the bond between these two characters. So tell me about, like, Patti was saying that she, both of you have such strong comedic backgrounds, but this film obviously is funny, but it has so much heart to it. So tell me about, the process of working together and making it.
Well, with any project, with any movie, the script is the starting point, and it's really the launch pad. And Nikole just created such a beautiful and kind of atmospheric world for these characters. And also, as a director, Nikole just created a space that was so comfortable and warm, and I think it really allowed Patti and me to settle in gently and get to know each other a little bit, which we had only met a time or two before we started shooting, and I think the content of the movie, the relationship between these two characters, was something that felt kind and felt gentle in a way that I think also helped us as people and as actors and as a team settle into each other and feel comfortable very quickly. And yeah. I mean, I should be clear. I don't like Patti. I don't think she's a good person. I'm not a fan, but
yeah.
But no, it really was. No, but I really do credit Nikole with a lot of kind of tone setting early on, and it just made the comedy feel light and fun and easy, and some of the more poignant moments in the movie natural, and the sets, all the production, like the locations that Nikole and her team picked out, and the lighting just felt warm and gentle. I don't know how else to say it.
No, I love that. And Nikole, I do want to come to you. Like I mentioned, you wrote it, also directed it. And also we love so much that you have so many queer people in the film, which is so wonderful. And so tell me a little bit about where this motivation to tell this story came from. What inspired you to write this film?
I mean, I started as a playwright, and I guess looking back, I have a couple plays that also deal with like surrogacy and egg donation. I think it's just such an insanely intimate thing that's usually occurring between total strangers. And so I was just curious, like what that would be like. And I really only ever write out of curiosity because I want to see what happens. So that's kind of where that idea came from. And I also, I wanted to tell a story that highlighted like a male biological clock, because that exists. And I think that like so often we see, men like dragged into fatherhood behind like a demanding wife or something. And so I really wanted to highlight that and explore that. And also a story about like a woman who had kind of been like, her life had been like knocked off kilter by like a prior pregnancy, but that made her eligible to become a surrogate. So it was like reappropriating this thing that had kind of skewed her path into the tool to move her forward, and to also tell a surrogacy story that wasn't like fraught with, hand on the belly, longing, look out the window, like I'm gonna have to give up this baby. I think that that's like a very common thing that we see. And so yeah, I just wanted to tell that story.
And for either one of you, I think that's what I loved. One of the things I love so much is that this film touches on this idea about love between two people that isn't necessarily romantic. It's more about the compassion and this kind of bond that they've come together. Tell me a little bit about, that theme and why it was something that you wanted to make a part of the story.
Well, I think that we fall in like a lot of different kinds of love over the course of our lives, and like a lot of them are impermanent. And I do actually kind of think of Matt and Anna as having like a romantic friendship. Like falling in love feels romantic, even if there's not a physical or sexual component to it. And I think that like falling in friendship love is just as powerful as falling in any other kind of love. And so I wanted to celebrate that, put that out there.
Ed, for anyone that hasn't seen the film yet, how would you describe that, kind of love between Matt and Anna and that bond?
Well, just to build on what Nikole was saying, there are so many different ways that we love in our lives, and it does bubble up in sometimes surprising ways. And I think, we don't always even express to people, especially friends, how much we love them. And I think maybe in the pandemic, we're getting a little better at that because there's this a deeper desire to connect. But I think I think this movie is particularly cool and special because it is a love story that is a little almost unfamiliar in the movie space. I mean, it's a very familiar in our lives. And I hope that people really connect and connect to this movie very quickly and easily. I certainly did to the script. But it isn't a story that's told often or enough. And I'm just so grateful to Nikole for telling the story and allowing me to be a part of it.
Patti, now that you're back, we were talking about just the theme about the showing that the film is about, two people that love each other. Maybe it's not necessarily romantic, and kind of the importance of showing that in film. Do you want to add anything to that?
I mean, it's strange because I find it like very romantic. I find it, but like platonically romantic. I think there's a romance of when you meet someone who you're like having the surprise connection with, and that goes with like your friends. And I think especially across across the binary, and the heteronormativity that gets blasted on that, I think there is a weirdness that happens sometimes when you meet like someone who you would be really good friends with, but you're like, I can't tell if this person is kind of like maybe scheming on me to like hit on me or something, or trying to rail. even. So I think it's, but you know, the movie doesn't go into that space in that explicit way that I did, but it is like, it's like Ed said, it's like there's a really like dreamy, beautiful softness to it that, and like the lighting and all the composition of it, that I think adds to this feeling of like a romance between these people, despite the fact that it's not like sexual or like.
Yeah, I mean, because they talk about soulmates aren't necessarily who, you know, you can have multiple soulmates, and it doesn't necessarily have to be someone that you're intimately, you know, involved with. But Nikole, I want to like ask you. So I noticed when I was watching the film, unless I'm completely crazy and off base, with Matt's character, like we don't explicitly know, like the ex could have been a woman, it could have been a, like, right, we don't know. And did you purposely kind of leave that open-ended for that character, or?
Well, I like purposely didn't focus on it. But Jules, Julio's character, does say in one of the scenes, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, the straight single guy that you see all exclusively." So it puts it out there in that moment, but it definitely wasn't. I didn't want to like focus on it.
Right.
It didn't even occur to me really, you know, one of the reasons why I put that in that scene was that I feel like when I was taking the script around, people always automatically assumed that Matt was gay, which is why he would be trying to be a dad. You know, and then I was like, oh no, that's like not the thing. And then they'd be like, oh my God, well, what's wrong with him? Like, what's he want that baby for? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know, like anytime someone had questions about that, I was like, oh, this story needs to be told even more. But yeah, I mean, I think that like, it's all just not the focus. And, you know,
That is, yeah, that's so interesting. I'm sorry, I'm interviewing now. No, just that assumption that people project like a desire to pursue child rearing as like a feminine quality. So then the feminine projections of gay men, like.
Yeah, that's the other. I mean, the exploration of sort of friend love as is one, I think, very fresh part of this story, and then that's the other part that is a story that is unfamiliar, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a single man. We're accustomed to a single women pursuing motherhood. We're not accustomed to that story in men, and it's fascinating.
It really is fascinating. We've got a couple of minutes left, but for any of you, what do you want people that see together, what do you want them to take away? What do you want them to, you know, what's the message you want them to walk away with? Patti, I'll start with you.
I hope that they can't see how much me and Ed really hate each other in real life. I hope that I hope that acting is good enough so that you don't see that. And well, I mostly hope that they like, you know, get the good fuzzy feelings about it. And it is like tonally is a very unique movie. It just has like these different, it's like a very delicate, caring movie that I think like caresses the audience into like a space genre wise that's very more nuanced than I think, you know, the categorization of the genre of the movies are, I guess, how people want to categorize movies. So it's just like a very unique experience, and I hope people have like an engaged time with that, if that checks out.
For sure. Ed, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, for sure. There are two things that I hope people take away from this movie. One is that Patti is a phenomenal actor, and not just a hilarious human being, but somebody who has so much to bring to the screen and to stories for a long time. And I can't wait to see what else you do. The other thing is that, well, there's three things. That's one. The other thing is that Nikole Beckwith is a genius, a beautiful writer and director. And then the third thing is just warmth. I guess that's all I would say. I hope that people feel a sense of warmth and just sort of a glow from this movie, because it's poignant and it's funny, but I think also just has a bit of warmth.
I felt all the feels for sure watching it. Nikole, did you want to? I did for sure. I was like, I was like, am I crying at the end? Like I kind of was. I was like, what's happening right now? Like, but Nikole, for you, did you? I mean, what do you want people to take away from this? Because it is all the feels.
Well, I think I hope it is that it changes over time, that it's a movie you can carry with you for days after seeing it and for much longer than that, and that it slowly kind of reveals itself to you and whatever that experience is. And I am so deeply moved by both Ed and Patti's performances. Even having seen the movie 400 times or something, it's like I fell deeper in love with Matt and Anna and Ed and Patti every single time I watched it, consistently getting choked up, consistently laughing at them and just being with them. And when you see a movie hundreds and hundreds of times as you're, crafting it, that's magic for that to happen, to be surprised and to keep finding layers, even as the writer and the director, through the work that Ed and Patti brought to it. It's just like such an incredible experience. Still, I'm sure I'll cry on Sunday when I see it, or I did cry on Sunday when I saw it. I don't know when this is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's so warm, so awesome. Patti, actually, while I have you, some big news for our community. Biden has repealed the ban on transgender people getting to serve in the military, which, it's a big accomplishment for the community. I was curious if you had any reaction or thoughts on that, because it seems like the Biden administration is doing what they said and, really fighting for our community.
Well, that's a good start. I am actually on base. I joined today. So I am, I'm learning how to use a 12-round grenade launcher today. I'm super excited and humbled about that. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Kamala Harris. Yeah, it's an amazing place to start. I hope they keep going. I hope they know they have like a shit ton of work to do, and they have shit that they, now I'm so, relieved and happy that they're there and not, my ex-boyfriend. He was my ex, and that's fine, and I shouldn't be embarrassed to say it publicly, so I'm not going to be Donald Trump is my ex-boyfriend. And yeah, I'm just excited that they it seems like a better place to work from and push them to reform a lot more than just that.
Absolute. Well, I'm so happy that this film is out there. The two of you, Ed and Patti, are amazing together. Nikole, such an amazing story. Thank you all so much for the time, and reminder everyone that Together, starring Ed Helms and Patti Harrison, is now premiered Sundance Film Festival, and make sure go check it out. Bleecker Street will be distributing it, so go find it. It's such a warm, great film. Thanks so much.